Well, now back to Snapchat censoring President Trump's tweets. Guess who is not happy about it?
People need to understand the danger that this poses. People say, well, start your own Facebook or start your own YouTube. I mean, that's absurd. It's like all the major airlines said, if you come on board with the Wall Street Journal, you can't have a seat. What am I going to do? Start Wall Street Airlines?
Well, joining is someone who's had his share of run-ins with social media, founder and director of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk. Charlie, welcome.
Thank you, Sean. Glad to be here. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm going to guess that you are not shocked by Snapchat's move. The question I have, you're out there in the public square every day. You're actually on the ground in college campuses. What does it, I mean, it seems like every day they're trying to take another tool away for the right and the president to get the message out.
Of course, this is predictable, and we've been warning about this for years. And I think it's finally become a mainstream conservative issue and concern. Look, you can never appease the mob, and we're learning this in real time. You can't kneel to the mob. You can't back down to them. And many conservatives thought, oh, yeah, the social media companies, they'll stop when it comes to me. And all of a sudden we're seeing the leader of the free world and the commander-in-chief not even allowed to be a promoted individual on Snapchat. This is not insignificant, by the way, Sean, because some people have said, oh, well, it's just a messaging service and who really cares? No, this is the primary way that individuals under the age of 20 get their information and news, as well as TikTok, which has also censored individuals like Lila Rose. I'm dealing with Twitter right now. I have one of the most top engaged Twitters on the planet, top 10. We have over 150,000 retweets a day on my personal Twitter feed. And one of my employees, Alex LaRusso at ALX on Twitter, was banned with no explanation from Twitter at all. In 6 weeks, I have reached out to them so many times, and they have just decided that they can digitally assassinate somebody, Sean. And on that note, a final point I want to make on this, I've tweeted over 43,000 times since I started my Twitter account in 2011. If they decide to digitally assassinate me, what happens to all the intellectual property I put on their platform? All my thoughts, all my videos, all these things that I exclusively put on their platform that they monetize, that I voluntarily participated in, are they just allowed to make that disappear? This is a real argument of property law, fairness, equity, speech. And right now the social media tech giants are acting as if they are anti-conservative, anti-American, anti-Western civilization activists, not fair and equal platforms for speech to be heard.
Charlie, I know that you know about this, but I want our viewers to see what you recently wrote in an op-ed in the Washington Post saying it's time to treat tech platforms like publishers. Let's be clear. When these companies censor or suppress conservative content, they are behaving as publishers and they should be held legally responsible for all the content they publish. If they want to continue hiding behind Section 230 and avoid legal and financial calamity, they must be reformed. And so what is the answer for them to be reformed, and how should this change so that they are treated like a publisher? Obviously, the president put in his executive order, but I think it's important for people to understand that this is for both sides, not just conservatives.
Yeah, I mean, look, the tech companies are all staffed by anti-Americans and people that hate Donald Trump, so it's not much of an issue for the liberals, as Sean has said. It just isn't. But yeah, it is an issue for all Americans eventually, because they will go after the soft liberals and the radical Marxists will want this platform to be only theirs. But yeah, I wrote this piece. The president just tweeted last night in favor of my position on Section 230. So here's the issue, is that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Google, they are funding content. They are funding they're funding shows, not dissimilar from this show right now. And so when you are actually in the business of publishing certain opinions, which they now are, it's no longer about content neutrality with them. They are now in the business of putting money behind actual individuals that are expressing viewpoints. Well, then you have to be then held legally responsible under what is said on your platform. The significance of this is these tech companies will not be able to have the oligopoly that has been able to be created here. And I want your listeners to understand, 92% of all search results go through Google. If Google wants to defeat Donald Trump, they will. It's that simple. There's nothing we can do about it. There is no recourse against Google unless we use the tools of the federal government to ensure fairness. Google can topple a civilization. They can make someone that is corrupt and clueless like Joe Biden become commander-in-chief, and there's little to nothing we can do about it. They can manipulate search results. They can make polling locations seem where they are not. We saw this in the 2018 election. Dr. Robert Epstein, who's terrific, came out with a study that said the midterm elections were probably steered by Google, and 2 or 3 million votes could easily happen this November. And he's a Democrat Hillary Clinton supporter who has said this. We as conservatives will not have a country anymore if we do not rise up against the idea of tech tyranny invading our country.
I can't echo what you just said enough. We talked about so much interference in the last election. Democrats and the left went nuts. This is their interference right now. And Charlie, thank you for sharing this with us, but also thank you for the fight that you're out there fighting to make sure that these guys are held accountable.
Thanks. Appreciate it.